Good morning, my dear patriot Americans, migrants, illegal migrants, all people. Every day I learn something new in my life. Today I didn't go to the gym. Today I got up early, I showered, got ready for work, and I am doing this live. It's my morning update. And you know, we all have we all have things that we prioritize, and I will agree that sometimes we prioritize the wrong things. Um, but I don't know. Last night I prayed before I went to sleep, and I was thinking to myself, you know, I know there's a lot of people out there that that need Jesus. I know there's a lot of people that need Jesus, and I want everybody to be saved. And as I was, I woke up this morning. Good morning, Cool Cat Renee. How are you, brother? Good morning. Good morning. As I woke up this morning, I thought, have I been fair? Have I been fair with people? Have I been saying the right things? Have I been uh, compassionate about delivering the message of Jesus Christ? Have I been a nice person when I speak about people that, the ones that insult me, the ones that threaten my life, the ones that hate the fact that we are different, that we think different, that I believe in God, that they don't believe in God. Have I been unfair about anything that I have said? And I started, just, I don't know. I went to sleep last night dreaming, not dreaming, sorry, praying uh, that I would have a different mindset this morning. Thank you, Jacob. Good morning, my friend. Uh, I think that, see what you say, Renee? I'm a 69-year-old. I am retired. My wife passed away 4 years ago. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. And I have three sons and four grandsons. Wow, you're a blessed man still, my man. And a daughter-in-laws. God bless you, man. That is a blessing, Renee. That is a blessing. And continue to fight the good fight, my friend. Continue to fight the good fight. The fight that we talk about, just in case people out there, uh, get the idea that we're trying to, bring violence or, things like that to the world. We don't want that. When we say fight, when we say fight, we don't mean like fist fights. We don't mean that. When we mean fight, as believers, as Christians, we fight against demons. We fight against principalities on this earth, things that are trying to destroy us, to divide us. And so I have been very tough on these. 100% illegal immigrants got to go. And it's not something that I think that I've changed my mind on. Um, it's the fact that we want people to respect the laws in this country, and a lot of people in here, and I don't know, maybe I have been wrong to judge people in here that cuss me out, that hate me, and call me traitor and all this stuff. Maybe I have been a little bit too hard on them. I'm not sure. um, but how do I tell them that I love them? How do I tell them that because I love them, I want them to be here legally? I want them to be here in a land that is foreign to them, but I want them to be here being at least somewhat grateful, somewhat respectful to the people and the laws of this country, to be honest with themselves, to say that you're in here law abiding knowing that you're here illegally. It's hypocritical. And so it doesn't mean that I hate them. I love my people. As a matter of fact, right now, um, I know, Jeff. I know this, but how else do I say it, right? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, how else do I say those things without sounding hateful? Right now, In Mexico City, if you guys don't know, in Mexico City, the people are having such a hard time paying rent. They say they have to choose between paying the electricity or paying the gas or paying the rent or paying for food. Like they have to choose which bills to pay because they have their rent has gone up like 47%, and they are struggling. And you know what they say? They say that the reason why the prices have gone up is because of the inflection of an invasion by Americans. Because hey, Defonso, because here in America, 11,000 Americans have migrated to Mexico, and Mexicans are calling that an invasion. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They're calling 11,000 Americans moving to Mexico an invasion. And they say that many people coming in there is creating prices to go up high through the roof, and they can't afford to pay the rent because Americans are invading Mexico. Now, the the other thing is they have signs up that says, "Speak Spanish." No, learn Spanish. Respect my culture. This is Mexico. And then the other thing that they also say is, "Get out, white man." What's the other one? "Get out, Yankee." Oh man, there were so many signs that I was looking at, and I'm like, you know, 11,000 Americans are invading Mexico. Mexicans have had it. They don't want us over there. They don't want us over there. That's kind of crazy. But there are a bunch of times, but yeah, that's crazy. Think how far your money goes in Mexico. Oh yeah, no, I'm 100%. So 11,000 Americans have gone to Mexico. It should show you that, of course, we think Mexico is beautiful. We think Mexico, it is a great country, not the government, but it is a great country nonetheless. I think people misunderstand when we say, this is the greatest country on earth. It's We have so many resources here. We have so many ethnicities mixed up, and so many people coming together, fighting for this country and for a better way of life. And I don't blame Mexicans for saying that Americans shouldn't be migrating to Mexico by the thousands. It does. It does affect rent, especially if they all go to the same place, and Mexico knows that they can pay the rent. It doesn't matter how high they raise it; it's still cheaper than the United States of America. So what happens to the locals? They have to pay more for the rent. I agree on that part. I don't think 11,000 people would do that, but yeah, they're all in Mexico City. The other thing that they say, what was the other thing that they said? Um, oh yeah, they said that if you're gonna be in Mexico, you got to do your part, and you got to give in to the community. You got to go there to help out, not to be dependent on the resources and the things from the government. Oh my God, I almost had that straight. Oh, I tried not to laugh. I'm so sorry, guys. But but this is what I've been talking about this mass illegal migration coming to the states. It does affect the economy, guys. It does. And people that why are you gay? Wilson, be nice, bro. Gay means happy, by the way, so I am happy. Many people ask me why I'm happy. I don't know. I'm very happy, guys. All right, that's all you gotta know. uh, you know, we share the gospel of Jesus Christ. We share our faith with people. I see a lot of Americans. Um, uh, you put more wrinkles than a California raisin. Well, the light is not gonna help, but yes, I know I'm getting old. I get all my wrinkles on my forehead. It is what it is. Let's see. San Diego looks like Mexico did 40 years ago. That's sad. That is actually sad. Um, I don't think we want any cities here in the United States of America looking like Tijuana. And New Mexico, a lot of the states where the population is, a lot of Hispanics. I'm sorry, guys, but that's what it looks like. California, it's a beautiful state. It's a good, beautiful, real state. But it's unfortunate, and people notice. Not only Americans, not only Mexicans notice, not only Central Americans know it. The problem I think is that people leave countries like Honduras, Nicaragua, Guatemala, and all this stuff, right? They leave those countries, and maybe they come from a very poor, very ghetto looking area, dirty, etc. And it's crime ridden, so they like, what, I want to go to the United States of America, and I want to have a better life. I didn't get papers to go there legally, but I'm going to make the best that I can to go down there illegally. Number one, that's the wrong mentality, right? But the way of life, that what they have left, they go up to the north, to Mexico and all this stuff, and they see the garbage. They see the same sort of life that they have left in other countries. And then they get to California and they see the same thing they saw in Tijuana. They see the same thing when they go to LA, and they see the dirt and they see the crime and they see the poor, and they just find themselves at home. Instead of coming over here to say, I want to get away with this, they come over here and they don't assimilate to the dream, to the American way. They just are comfortable living dirty. Like here in America, for example, there's rules. You cannot drive a car that's falling apart, blowing black clouds of smoke. It's illegal in some states, and in our countries that's allowed. As long as the car still moves, is allowed. But here in the states, they try to keep clean air. They try to get good cars on the street so they don't break down. Of course, everything breaks down at some point. But what I'm saying is that they come from this third world country shitholes, as they say, and they go to the same area together, because that's where where all Hispanics are. That's where Hispanic illegal Hispanics want to come to. If you are from India, a lot of people like to go where Indians are, or maybe not. Maybe the Indians are different, but I know in my Latino community, they like to go to the same place, and then they live the same way that they live back in their country. They don't come over here and be like, okay, you know what? I am no longer in that third world country. Now, instead of throwing garbage on the street, I'm going to hold on to it until there's a garbage can. I am going to clean up my area. I am going to do something better in this country, because this country is the land of opportunity. But because people have been so bad, and because people in California don't care, they you have this fluctuation of people that are used to being dirty, that are used to living in poverty, that they don't see anything else that they can do for themselves. That's just the way they are. That's their nature, and so they turn to criminality. They turn into gangbangers, etc. And they don't see a way out. They don't see that they can do something better with their lives. Now, with that being said, you know, we're not perfect. Americans, Hispanic Americans, Mexican Americans, we're not perfect, but we try to live a different life. We try to be better people. I know a lot of Mexicans. I know a lot of people in here, a lot of Latino. I'm talking about my Latino people. They come over here. They're hard workers. They want to start their own business. Of course, they want to make money. All I ask is that you respect and love this country, right? And if it's something that if it's something to where like you think that it's okay to break the law, I'm sorry. I'm not down with that. You have to respect the law if you want to be in this country. And that's just my little rant for today. But you seem like you kind of okay. I'm working my butt off. My wife has to work. There used to be a time in this country, but if a man worked his butt off, his whole family was taken care of. Now I need my wife to work. I have to work. As soon as my children are old enough to work, they gotta work. And that's no life. That's not how it's supposed to be. The American dream used to be, you're in your 20s, you already buying a house. Property taxes are pretty low. Gas is very affordable. Of course, I understand that time prices will change. Inflation, you cannot stop it. It'll continue, but it goes very slow. And this is why companies, they give you a dollar raise, 50-cent raise. That might have worked back in the 90s. But today, we cannot afford to just get $1 raise. As I was a leasing agent for over 5 years, and one of the reasons why I left that industry, I didn't feel right making my money and seeing people not being able to afford their house. I told my manager, how can I work here? How can I be a leasing agent in this apartment community and I cannot afford the rent in this place? And it wasn't like a high luxury place, guys. We're talking about a place that it's not nice. It's just the average, even below average property. How is it possible that I work full time here, for a multi-million dollar company, and I, as an employee, as a leasing agent, cannot afford to live here? How is that right? And so you have Mexicans complaining about 11,000 Americans going down there, and it's raising the price of their rent in their homes. But in the same token, you have millions of illegal immigrants that have come here, have taken up all the housing available. The government doesn't know how to build houses fast enough. There's way too many people. And I know it sounds bad, but guys, it's the truth. I don't mean any hate against illegal immigrants, but I do think they got to respect the law. Let's not forget about that. That's number one. They got to respect the law. But they're taking up all the housing available, and the real estate, the market for real estate, apartment communities, property rentals. They know that people come here and they bunch up, and it doesn't matter if the rules in this country are, well, at least in Washington State, are that you can have two people per bedroom and one in the living room. But these people come here and they have like 10 people in a two-bedroom apartment, 12 people in a two-bedroom apartment. And you know that the apartment gets trashed, and the parking spaces are all taken, and there is like, guys, believe me, it's like a domino effect. In the apartments, you got a one bedroom. Okay, you got two adults. That means that you're gonna have two cars if they have a child or whatever. The child doesn't drive. But what do you see in most problems? Go look it up. Go Google it. I guarantee you that's still the same problem. Look at multiple apartment community properties. What is the biggest issue that they have besides the rent being very high? It's parking. Parking is congested. The freeways are more congested today than they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And like I said, I know that, population is supposed to continue to grow every year. But when they're raising your rent $350 and you get a raise at work for $160, it's unlivable. You're gonna have more homeless people. You're gonna have more problems. Not only that, but they are getting so much money for our schools. And man, this part I hate. I hate this part because I see a lot of Hispanics, children, as mostly Mexicans, in the public schools, getting free lunches, getting free education. And I'm okay for that if it's something that is very, very, very feasible. Guys, there's hundreds of thousands of illegal children in this country, and I just don't know how that works. Uh, it's sad because I want every child to have a good life. I want, every migrant that comes to this country to have a good life. but we cannot afford to have mass migration, guys. Mass migration is a problem, and this is why illegal immigrants got to go, man. I'm sorry. But you made that problem. You see, Americans didn't force you to come here illegally. Americans didn't tell you start making babies and pop them left and right. Americans didn't tell you to do that. You did that. Adrian, I understand that you're illegal. Believe me, it's nothing against you. It's nothing against you. If anything, what I'm telling you is what's right for you, what is good for you. No, I am very sorry, but it's the truth. So, as sorry as I am, the truth is the truth. And that is a fact. A lot of cities and states that have been defending illegal immigrants, and specifically very hardcore criminal immigrants, uh, they are the cause, the root problem of every state of the economy in this country. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars on illegal immigrants just in Washington state alone. And the worst thing is, not only do criminals benefit from illegal immigration, but the government, with their NGOs, they laundry money like some, I don't know, like some mafia, from the movies. They laundry so many hundreds of millions to billions of dollars through NGOs. And guess who has to pay for that? The American taxpayer, Washingtonians. We are the ones that got to fork up the bill for these people in government stealing our money. They use illegal immigrants to say, oh, we're a sanctuary city. Oh, we love migrants. They don't say we love illegal migrants. We love migrants and we're helping them out. So everybody's got to pay more taxes. And you know what? The illegal immigrants, they don't even get the money. Some of them do. They get benefits, etc. But that's put into the system, right? This is why they count them on the census. When you have a census count, it tells the government, okay, this state needs this much federal money. Just like California has been bitching and complaining, oh, we pay the most taxes and Texas gets the most money back every year from the government. That's because their census is very high. And Washington and California, they just receive hundreds of thousands, millions of illegal immigrants. And so when they do their census, they are counting that they're going to get a lot of that money back. They have this hard feeling about paying so many billions of dollars in federal taxes, and they feel that they're a donating state, but they don't do anything to protect the border. And so now they have millions of illegal immigrants, and they will Paco's landscaping. God bless them, man. They work hard, bro. They work hard, but they got to do it the right way. They got to be legal. And so California has been bragging about their donating state, and they're paying all this money. So they have allowed millions of illegal immigrants to go to California. So when the census goes through, they're going to be counting all these millions of people. And what that's going to do is, and guys, I'm not a tax expert. I'm not an economist. I am just an average American Joe that puts things together just like you do. All right. So before you go out there and say, oh, what masters do you have? You're not an economist. What do you know? Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I'm a half a century old. That's what my master's degree is. 50 years of hardcore living in this world. That's what my degree is. And so I know that when they count the people in the census, the government has to give California back more money because of the population for that state. If I am wrong, prove me wrong. But they don't care about the illegal immigrants. They don't care about them. They just want the money that they bring into their state. And who gets that money? Not the people. The corrupted government, the corrupted politicians from each state. They are the ones that get that money. Here in Washington State, how is it possible, guys, that you're going to have every politician making 170,000, 150, some make 200, some make 225? How do they go into office and leave office multimillionaires? Put that together. Now, they're supposed to be our servants. I've never seen a servant make more money than their master. I can verily afford rent. I fall behind on some bills. I'm like the Mexicans in Mexico City. I got to figure out which bill I got to pay today. Do I pay this bill or do I eat? If I buy food and I pay this other bill, my power is shut down. I got to choose. I got to live paycheck to paycheck. How many people are out there living paycheck to paycheck? I have some of my subscribers that have told me stories. They support me and I love them and I appreciate them and I pray for them. But there is people that are still living in their cars with their children here, Americans. How is it possible? In America, we have systems in place to provide shelter, to provide food, but we have this big influx of illegal immigrants that have taken up all the housing available. Go find out. They just told us that there was over 100,000 illegal immigrants on Section 8. What? That is not for illegal immigrants. Governments have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, putting illegal immigrants in hotels and etc. You guys know this. So as much as I love my Latino people, you cannot be here illegally. And I'm going to say, and you're going to call me a hypocrite, a bias, or whatever you want to call me. But if you are here illegally, I don't know how you get to work, because it is illegal for you to work without a permit. If you're not authorized to be in this country, you cannot work. Therefore, your taxes are null, and you shouldn't get any of it back. But if you happen to find a way, and you work, like he said, Paco's landscaping, right? I know that a lot of people get prejudiced or maybe even racist with things like this. I tell you, Americans, don't be prejudiced toward Hispanics, please. That is our people still, okay? So don't be prejudiced towards them. Love them, respect them, give them an opportunity if you can. But I'm going to say this, if you're here illegally, keep your mouth shut, work hard, save up. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring, what's going to happen in your life. Don't blame the government for what you are doing wrong. Don't blame the Americans because you are stealing their food. Don't blame Americans because you're stealing their housing. You might say, how am I stealing it? I'm working. I'm paying for it. Because you're here illegally. That's how you're stealing it. You have no permission to work, which is illegal to do in this country. You cannot work. You cannot take jobs that belong to people that are legal, that have papers. There is a lot of migrants that have permission to work here. You know what's happening to them? Some companies are giving the jobs to illegal immigrants because they can pay them less. Isn't that ironic? It doesn't matter what the government does. It doesn't matter what program we have for working families. We got Mexicans that come in here to work in the farms with papers. And those farmers, they fire them and they hire illegal immigrants because they get to pay them less. They don't have to pay them health insurance. They don't have to give them benefits. They just pay them the minimum wage, and that's how they take advantage of illegal immigration. You see, there's a lot of people that will take advantage of them. I just heard, very sadly, I heard there was this Garcia family, and a friend of mine, one of my subscribers, sent me this video, and I watched it. And this is a thing that's been going from generations. This Mexican pastor has been child trafficking, and there was like a big bust. They're in jail, they're going through this and stuff. And I mean, this happened like a year or two ago, and people don't talk about it. It's just like it was in the news, it happened, whatever. But this is like a mega church. And they're supposed to be Christian. They're very religious. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they find religion. See, they don't find the truth, which is to have a true relationship between God through Jesus Christ and man. They find religion, and the moment that you find religion, they become loyalists to the leaders of those churches. And so they were trafficking children, sex trafficking children. They were, part of a drug cartel and all this other stuff. And you see this big mansion, and you see this big luxurious building. They had over 5 million followers throughout the world. And you know what? That is wrong. It is wrong. If you are a Christian, you cannot blame these people for hating us when we say that Jesus Christ is Lord and He's King and our God is merciful and our God is great. And you know what? They see the devil in the church. You have pastors, and bishops, Catholic priests. They're gay. I'm sorry, but you cannot be a leadership position in the church. Being gay is a sin, just like any other sin that we have to go through, and we got to turn away from our sin. Now, if you choose to live that life, that's okay. You have to answer to God, not to me. And I will love you. It doesn't matter what. I have a lot of gay friends. That's not the reason why I say it. But the truth is the truth. If I'm a drunkard, I'm a sinner. If I cheat on my wife, I'm a sinner. If I go and I'm a liar to people, I'm a sinner. I mean, we all are sinners in this earth. And so we all will be judged accordingly. But we still have to speak the truth of what the Bible says about us in this life. So I woke up this morning just very, just how do I tell people the truth without hurting their feelings? And the answer is, I can't. I can't. Truth hurts. Love hurts. And so I have to say it as it is. So I find it very interesting that, Mexicans are complaining about Americans doing an invasion in Mexico. 11,000 Americans have moved down there, and the Mexicans are calling that an invasion. As you see, the sun is starting to come out. Well, no sun, but the light. It's typical weather here in Washington. Summer's almost finished. We only got a few days. It's probably gone by now, to be honest. But I find it very interesting that Mexicans are complaining about a lot of too many Americans, white Americans migrating to Mexico. It's destroying the economy, guys. Don't go to Mexico. Go visit. Give them money. Their economy depends on tourists and cartel money, but that's something different. They depend on trading with the United States of America. If they think they want to trade with China, go for it. But it's going to be more costly at the end. The businesses suffer. They are trying to find ways to be able to import and export faster. That's what brings money into the country. Tariffs, introductory taxes, that brings money into the country. Even Honduras has tariffs on people. Whenever you bring a car from the United States of America, you got to pay a tax, an introductory tax. That is a tariff. And so every country does that. Now, you would think that these tariffs will help the Honduran people. It doesn't. It goes to the government's pocket, and they don't do jack squat for the people. So at least here in the United States of America, we got programs in place that helps people. But we cannot sustain those kind of programs with millions and millions of illegal immigrants coming in here, taking up all the housing, taking up all the space in the freeways and the highways. That means millions and millions of more cars that have to be on the freeways and the streets. And let's be honest, no country can sustain a mass migration from other countries. We cannot live in this country like India does. They got billions of people. They don't know what to do with their people. They make so much money, but they make so much money, and there's so many people that they are poor. The government, of course, gets to live rich, but the people suffer. And look at China. China, the government is rich, but the people, there are billions of Chinese, they don't get to live in good conditions. Even the high paying, the high money maker Chinese people are coming to the United States illegally. Like they rather chance their life coming to this country illegally than to be in Mexico. They are rich, and yet the people don't see anything. Here in America, we got a lot of rich billionaires. We got a lot of millionaires. But these millionaires, the capitalist system that we live in, pays for 60% of the social systems that we have, like welfare, in place. Imagine that. We have, as Charlie Kirk says, liberals and leftists. Charlie Kirk said that liberals would sit there and have a conversation back and forth with him, and at the end of the day, they'll go and have a coffee together. Liberals actually are willing to work for America. And then the leftists, these are the people that try to shut you up before you even say anything. He spoke a lot of truth, and he left us a lot of good examples. Hey, Miguel, how are you, brother? Bracero program. I haven't heard of that one, bro. I don't know what that one is. But hey, guys, mornings are very limited for me. I had to go finish getting ready for work. Today I didn't go work out. I took a break today, but tomorrow I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and Tuesday, Thursdays, and the weekends I'm going to go ahead and do my exercises. I think is good enough. I want to be able to have some energy to do my job at work, and then to be able to come in here and share some truth with you guys and share some updates that I come across. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me early this morning. Hopefully some of the information that I told you is of use to you. I really want to emphasize, we don't want to hurt people. We don't want to fight physical fights. We want to fight with our words. We want to fight to ask for fair treatment of everybody in this country. We want to fight by standing up to corruption. We want to fight by standing up to a corrupted governments. That's how we fight. And the best way that you can fight, the most productive, the most efficient, is fight in prayer. And with that, I'll leave you. My love goes to you and yours, from my family to yours. May God bless you, and God bless your family and the USA. I will see you guys at 5 p.m. tonight. Thank you for watching. You all be blessed. Take care.